Hi, my name is Angel. Welcome back to my channel. We have bookshelves officially. After moving into the new place, I finally got my bookshelves set up, and today we are going to be putting books on them. But before we get into that whole process, I just wanted to yap for a minute because I do kind of have a funny story about this. So, if you guys have been watching me, you know that this shelf over here in the corner is the one that I had at the last apartment. And I decided when we moved that I wanted to get a second shelf just like that one. And unfortunately, I did get that one off of Amazon. So I just went onto Amazon, found the same listing, and ordered it again. But silly me, I usually am always really good about checking all the information and like triple checking it before I place any order, and I thought I did this time. Even when the order shipped and I was tracking it, I was like, okay, perfect, it's gonna be here soon. The whole time, not until it got delivered did I realize that I shipped it to my old address in Florida, among with a couple of other random things that I ordered. So that was fun, and immediately I reached out and contacted them, and I'm very grateful because they ended up just sending out a free replacement to the correct address. So I did get the bookshelf. I didn't have to pay for it twice. I just got a free replacement. So that was really cool. I was able to get everything replaced that I had ordered and accidentally sent to Florida. We set up the shelf last night, and it wasn't until I was opening the box that I was like, this is a totally different shelf than the one that I ordered and the one that I have now. So it is pretty close. It's the same style and same kind of idea concept for a bookshelf, but they're totally different. And I was like, okay, maybe, that was on me, because sometimes even if you find the same listing on Amazon that you previously ordered, they can update the listing between the last time you ordered and current day, and it could be the same listing but a different product. So I was like, well, maybe that's what happened, and they updated it and it was actually this bookshelf, and I just didn't realize because I just placed the order. So I went back and I looked at the listing, and the one that they have in the listing is the one that I have in the corner, my original bookshelf. And so I don't really know what happened, if it was always going to be the wrong shelf that came, or if it got messed up when they sent out the replacement. Maybe they just didn't look at the exact details of which shelf it was that they were sending me. But I feel like you can't really tell on camera, but there's definitely, first of all, let me tilt you up. You can't really tell that much, but this one is shorter than this one. It also, you can see that top bookshelf is much higher than the other one, so those books are going to be way up there. Wow, this is a great angle. I'm so good at doing things. Anyway, I know it's pretty similar. Once I get the books on it, you won't be able to tell, but the wood is also an entirely different color. The setup was completely different, but it's fine. Like I said, once I put some books on it, you won't even be able to tell, hopefully. Also, in addition to that, I have this little single shelf on the end that I got from my boyfriend. Previously, he had all of his books on one single shelf on my old bookshelf, and that was overflowing, and then I was running out of space for my own books, so I was like, let me just order you a shelf. And he was like, no, I don't need my own bookshelf. I'm like, listen, it's fun for me to set up your books and to decorate your bookshelf. So I definitely don't think he has enough books to fill that shelf, but the plan was to put other things on there as well, little knickknacks, some Legos maybe put up there. So we're gonna be doing all of that today. We did hang up, you can see the curtain lights that were with the previous setup. We hung those up last night as well. So once all the books are up, we will do the brand reveal and plug in the lights, and it'll be so stunning, so beautiful. So let me bring you guys out. Let me stand up, and then I will show you kind of what my plan is for where I'm going to be putting things on the shelves. I know that there will be empty spaces, but that was the goal because my old bookshelf was overflowing. I was like, I need to put these on a different shelf, have things spread out more, and then I have room to grow. So let me show you what I'm thinking. Here we are. So my plan is on this bookshelf. This is my old bookshelf in the corner here. I want to do a fantasy and a romance shelf because I never had dedicated fantasy and romance shelves before because they're not really genres that I read a lot, but now I'm starting to read them a little bit more and acquire more books in that genre. So I want to have my own space for those books. So what I'm thinking is like romance up top, and then the second shelf I could do fantasy, and then underneath that go into sci-fi, and then I have some young adult books as well, which previously were kept on the bottom shelf, and I will do the same thing again because they're not really books that I read a whole lot of right now, and I'm not really acquiring new young adult books. It's just like those nostalgic old favorites. So I'll put those on the bottom. I do want to have, right now I'm thinking like dedicating 2 shelves for sci-fi. I definitely don't have that many sci-fi books right now, but I love sci-fi and the plan is to get more, so we're gonna do that. So that takes care of like kind of this corner piece, and then we have this piece that this box is on that I'm thinking maybe I will do like nonfiction. Wow, hello, very close to you guys. Nonfiction and then fiction towards the bottom of that shelf, and then that brings us to the new shelf. So for this, I want this to be like more of what reflects a lot of my reading taste, I guess. And you guys know most of what I read is horror. So what I'm thinking is for this first shelf, I'm gonna do like thriller books, and then in the middle, hence the skull, I'm thinking that will be like horror. I feel like it makes sense to have horror front and center, especially when I'm thinking about like what my potential filming setup will be as far as like the lighting in this room and where I'm going to be sitting to film videos. I would want more thriller and horror in the background than genres that I don't read too much of. And then we have this whole thing that I don't know if anything will make it on this shelf today. This might be overflow space. I don't know. We'll have to see once I start laying everything out. And then we'll do my boyfriend's shelf probably at the end. So step 1 in the process is to clear off all of the random stuff that has made its way onto the shelf. I mean, it's not totally random. Like there's books. This has like some of my bookshelf decor. That's why it's sitting here. And then there's like an astronaut helmet for some reason. So take all that off and then we can start working. I'm gonna start with romance and we're just gonna see what happens. I don't know how this whole fantasy shelf is gonna go because I think this might be like the only 3 fantasy books I have. Well, I have the ACOTAR series, so I can put ACOTAR up here, but it'll be a pretty empty shelf for now. I have 231 books on my shelves, not including my boyfriend's, of course, and then I have 60 books on my physical TBR. So total, I own almost 300 books, which is crazy, and I have so much space for more. So I'm going to take you guys on the tour. It's like a whole wall of books now. So my shelves are mostly done. I put whatever decorations that I have on there. I want more anyway. Like, that's always been the plan, to have more like decorations and like fake plants especially. But I can show you what we're working with right now. Like I said, this is gonna be like romance and fantasy, which I don't have a lot of right now, but it is something that I'm like slowly acquiring more of. So Magnolia Parks, my other romance books. I have this print that I got a while ago, but it's like the Lovers tarot card, but obviously it's all gross and fucked up, but it's the Lovers, so I gotta put it by the romance, and then it also kind of has a little bit of like horror feel to it, because obviously that's what I love. For fantasy, I don't really have a whole lot, and I didn't know where to put this cat, so I just put him there. I have my ACOTAR series over here, and I put the mushroom on top just because it holds down the book on the top so that the page isn't like flapped up. Does that make sense? I don't know. Down here is my first sci-fi shelf, and I think these fit on there pretty well. I love the cover of Moonbound, and it was also one of my hands are shaking so much, but it was also one of my top books from last year. But it's just a gorgeous cover. Like, obviously I have to display that. Anyway, I have more room on the side for a few other little sci-fi books, and then this will also be a sci-fi shelf. So right now I just have some like dystopian. So these are some dystopian books that I have that I feel like fits in with the sci-fi section. And then of course on the bottom we have young adult and books that I loved when I was a kid. So there's like Ellen Hopkins, Twilight, of course we have the Hunger Games, and I did leave a little bit of space for Sunrise on the Reaping once I finish that. My John Green books, and then some other random books that I liked when I was a kid. Then this next section is kind of just like more general fiction, so you can see there's definitely room to grow there. So on the top, this is more kind of like, I don't even know, hard hitting, kind of emotional, kind of fucked up stuff like Clockwork Orange, Requiem for a Dream, Ripe by Sarah Rose Etter, A Little Life, and then I put my Charlotte McConaughey's here, and then I also have these, what I like to call my pedophile section, Lolita, My Dark Vanessa, and All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, which arguably could be cataloged as horror, but I feel like they just fit on this shelf. Down here, more fiction and my little Frederick Bachman section. It saddens me so much that the Winners is like a hardcover and it's so much taller than everything else, but whatever. Down here is more fiction as well, and I don't know, I just feel like these books didn't really fit the vibe of like these books, so I put them on a different shelf. I don't know, okay, it makes sense in my head. And then I got room for more fiction books. The next section is my like thrillers. Obviously my water bottle's not going to stay there, but just some basic paperback thrillers at the top. I try to like put all of the ones that I have like repeat authors by, except for Liv Constantine. I don't have another Liv Constantine at the moment, but I have like Alan Eskins. That's like 2 books in a series, is book 1 and book 3, so I need to get the second one so I could put that in there. Lucy Foley, some Sherry LaPena, I don't know how you pronounce her name, Gone Girl, Dark Places, and then I just have that little pumpkin there because there's not a bookend here because these kind of stay up on their own, but I don't want them sticking out, so the pumpkin's kind of holding them in line. And then this is pretty much all hardcover thrillers, so there is a lot of Book of the Month ones in here, and then some aardvark ones. Midnight is the Darkest Hour is one of my favorites, and I really, really love that cover, so I have that one facing out for now. Down here is my like Ruth Ware section, and then some other random thrillers, paperback thrillers, and then Down here, this is more horror. I didn't know where to put these books, so I just put them here for now. Like, everything on this shelf is definitely probably going to move around a lot as I acquire more books and I read more of my physical TBR. So for now, just because these editions are gorgeous, I feel like I need to display them, Frankenstein and Dracula. And then I had my Flowers in the Attic series that I wasn't sure what to do with, so I just put it there. And that's that for now. And then I have an empty shelf and room for more thrillers. And then, like I said, in the middle, I wanted to do my horror books. So up top, I just wanted to put some of my favorite horror authors. So we have Anne Reid, the 2 David Sodergren books that I own, and then my little Eric LaRocca section. The ghost is on top once again to keep that like weighted down so it's not sticking up. This is more hardcover horror books. I really like the way all of these colors go together. It's not even intentional, but they look really pretty. And then horror movie, of course, was my top book from last year, so I figured I might as well have that one being displayed for the time being at least. Down here is all of my Stephen King. I was kind of thinking about having The Fisherman face outwards because I do really love that book, but there is like some marks on this one that I got because it's like a secondhand copy, so it just, I wasn't really a big fan of it, and I feel like I could fit more. I like that this shelf is full of like other horror books. And then down here we have some more, so other paperback horror books on the left. And then on the right side is more like novellas, like thinner things. And then my 3 Chuck Palahniuk books, which of course not all of them are technically classified as horror, but I feel like they just fit in there, and I don't know, I just like having a Chuck Palahniuk section. I have 2 other books on my physical TBR, and I did unhaul one when I moved, so we'll add some more to the Chuck Palahniuk stack. And now we have this last shelf, which is mostly empty because I will probably be adding more horror onto it. So I just put some of my nonfiction stuff on here. So the top shelf is more like self-help and a little bit like spiritual kind of metaphysical type of nonfiction. And then also this tarot deck that is my well, I have 3 tarot decks, so that's the one that I use the least, and then it also just has a gorgeous box, so it makes sense to display it with the box. And then this, my boyfriend's mom actually made, and I think it's really cute, and I feel like it fits the vibe of the shelf. And then down here is some other like general nonfiction. So I have My Body, Eating Animals, Cultish. There's some like memoir type stuff in here, and then I have 2 true crime. This is a ghost book from Hawaii, which I've had that since I was a kid. And then my little crystal that is kind of holding it up. And then I have this thing that my boyfriend got me. I don't think it's on right now. No, I'm gonna turn it on and then I'll show you guys. It's like one of those coin things, so you put a coin up here. It's very loud. So the cat comes out and grabs the coin. But I think it's kind of cute, and I feel like it fits. Just keep it on the shelf. And then I have my Calvin and Hobbes book. I don't know why it's just sitting there. I just like didn't know where to put it, so I just have it there for now. And then of course at the end is my boyfriend's shelf, which is definitely not done. I just put all of the books up there, but we'll probably spend time together like putting other stuff up there, like some of his Legos, like I said, and rearranging it. This, The Walking Dead, literally didn't fit on one of the shelves standing up, so I didn't have a choice. I put it up there with this guy. I don't really know what that is. He says it's a brute, which maybe some of you watching will know what that is, but I don't know what it is, but he's up there. And then this painting that he made like 10 years ago, and I think it's pretty cool, so I'm like, why not just put it up there? He's got a lot of the books from the Ender's Game series, and I don't know what order they go in. They are most definitely out of order because I have Ender's Game on the end. So some of this stuff will be messed with, but it's just kind of generally the idea. So this is like his fiction stuff, and then at the bottom he has some nonfiction and some like metaphysical stuff and the Satanic Bible, as you do. And then this shelf, there's a car manual on it, but it's empty otherwise, so we're gonna, you know, decorate it and fix it up a little bit. And then my TBR cart, which I don't know if it's going to stay right there on the end, just where it is for now. Also, this is a painting that a bird made. We got this, I think, no, it was at the Strawberry Festival in Florida. I was gonna say the Florida State Fair, but I'm pretty sure it was the Strawberry Festival, but this bird made it, that bird. So for right now, that's what it looks like. Like I said, I will be decorating. Of course, things will be changing as I read more from my physical TBR and I buy more books. So now we're gonna do the reveal. I have to climb down here and plug the lights in. I'm gonna turn off this ceiling light and we're gonna see how it looks with the lights plugged in behind the books. The blinds are open so you don't get like the full effect because there is some light from outside, but I think it's very pretty. So hopefully you guys will be seeing more of this as it changes and grows in the background of my videos. So I feel like this is a good place to end it. I mean, what much more can I really do? So with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching and coming on this little journey with me while I put together my bookshelf. Well, actually you didn't see me put it together, but you saw me put it together. Thank you so much for watching and hopefully I will see you guys next time.